They can't stop thinking about you, and it's driving them crazy because they don't even know why. How are you doing today? I hope you're good because I got something for you that's gonna make a lot of sense once I lay it out. See, I'm getting this real strong pull right now. Like there is a group of people out there, and your energy just will not leave their mind. Not in a weird way, not in a bad way, just in a way where you occupied space in their head and you didn't even do anything to put yourself there. You ever notice how you can walk into a room and not say a single word, and somehow by the time you leave, three or four people are already talking about you? That's not a coincidence. That's your presence doing something that your mouth doesn't even have to do. Your energy is loud, even when you are quiet. And that's really rare. Most people gotta perform to get noticed. Most people gotta talk loud, dress a certain way, chase attention. You didn't chase nothing, and that's exactly why it works on you. I'm seeing that there is a specific group, maybe from your past, maybe people you cross paths with recently, and they keep bringing you up. Not because you ask them to, not because you're trying to stay relevant in their life. It's because something about the way you carry yourself left an imprint on them and they can't shake it. And I want you to sit with that for a second because a lot of you're watching this have been made to feel like you're too much or not enough or you're simply feeling forgettable. And what I'm getting right now is the complete opposite of that. You are not forgettable. You are the opposite of forgettable. You're the person people replay in their mind at random times of the day for no clear reason. Now, here's the thing about energy like yours. It doesn't fade quick. A lot of people got energy that hits you once and is gone like a flash. Here today, forgotten tomorrow. Your lingers, your sits with people. Your shows up in their thoughts week later, months later, sometimes decade later, and they still can't explain exactly what it was about you that stuck. That's not a gift. That's not something everybody's walking around with. And I'm getting that this has been happening your whole life. Honestly, even back when you were younger, even before you understand what was going on, people were already drawn to something in you that you probably didn't recognize in yourself yet. Maybe you were the quiet one in the group who everybody still somehow gravitated toward. Maybe you were the one nobody could quite figure out. And that mystery pulled people in instead of pushing them away. Either way, this thing you got, it's been building for a long time. It's not new. It's just louder now because you grown into it. See, when you were younger, you probably didn't even want attention. Some of y'all practically trying to shrink, try to blend in, tried not to stand out because standing out felt uncomfortable, felt like too much pressure. I felt like it's invited things you weren't ready to handle. And I get that. Because when people are drawn to you before you understand your own worth, it can feel confusing more than flattering. It can feel like a burden. Like, why is everybody looking at me? Why can't I just exist quietly? But something shifted. Something changed where you stopped shrinking and you started just letting yourself be exactly who you are without apologizing for it. And once that shift happened, that's when it really turned up. Because people can feel the difference between somebody who's uncomfortable in their own skin and somebody who's finally settled into it. And once you settle into yours, it became magnetic. Not because you try to make it magnetic, because you stop fighting your own nature. Now let's talk about why they can't let it go. I'm seeing that a lot of people thinking about you right now. They're not thinking about you because of something you did for them or something you said to them. They are thinking about you because you represent something they don't have and don't fully understand how to get. It is peace, groundedness, that quiet confidence that doesn't need announcing. A lot of people are running around anxious, insecure, constantly performing for approval, and then they come across somebody like you who just settled, just calm, just sure of themselves without being loud about it. And it messes with their whole perspective. It makes them question their own way of moving through the world. And when people encounter something that makes them question themselves, they don't always process that healthy way. Sometimes it comes out as admiration, sometimes it comes out as jealousy, sometimes it comes out as this weird obsession where they can't stop bringing you up in conversation, can't stop checking for you, can't stop wondering what you're doing, how you're doing, who you're with, not because they necessarily even like you in a romantic way. Sometimes it's way simpler than that. Sometimes people are just obsessed with figuring out what it is that makes you. I keep getting the image of people trying to study you, like you're a puzzle they can't solve. They watch how you handle situations that would stress other people out, and you stayed calm. They watched how you respond to disrespect, and instead of blowing up, you just get quiet and pull back. And that quiet pulling back messes with them more than any argument ever could. They watch how you don't beg for attention, don't chase people who pull away, don't explain yourself to people who already made up their mind about you. And all of that just adds another layer to misery. Another reason why they can't stop turning you over in their mind, there is a particular kind of person who get fixated on energy like yours. And it's usually somebody who's used to being able to read people easily. They're used to figuring folks out fast, used to know exactly what buttons to push, exactly what somebody wants to hear. And then they run into you, and none of that works. You don't respond the way they accept. You don't chase. You don't compete. You don't try to convince them of anything. And that unpredictability, that refusal to play the usual games, that's what hooks people way harder than any performance ever could. I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed that the people who try hardest to get your attention are usually the ones you're doing the least for? Like you're not even trying with them and they're still stuck. Meanwhile, people you actually put effort into sometimes don't even notice. That's not random. That's because effort and neediness repel and calm confidence attracts. The less you chase, the more you're chased. It sounds backwards, but it's one of those crucial laws that just keeps proving itself true in your life over and over. Now, I also want to address something because I know some of you listening to this might be feeling a little uneasy. Like, okay, this is nice to hear, but why does it feel like people are watching me too closely sometimes? Why does it feel like certain people know a little too much about my business without me telling them directly? That's part of this too. When your energy is too magnetic, people pay closer attention to you than you realize. They notice your patterns. They notice when you post, when you go quiet, when you change your energy, when you show up different. It's not always in a harmful way. Most of the time, it's just curiosity, just fascination. But I don't want you to trust your own discernment here. If something ever feels off and a particular person's attention starts feeling less like admiration and more like something invasive, you're allowed to protect your peace and pull back. Not everybody who's drawn to your energy deserves close access to your life. This is important, okay? But for the most part, what I'm getting here is lighter than that. It's more about people just being pulled towards something good, something rare, and not fully knowing what to do with that pull. I'm seeing specific people, maybe someone from your past, who never told you how much you stayed on their mind. Maybe someone who let you go for whatever reason, pride, timing, fear, and now finds themselves thinking about you at random meetings, wondering what would have happened if they handled things differently. I'm getting a strong sense that there is somebody out there right now who regrets not holding on to your energy while they had easy access to it. And now they're stuck watching from a distance, unable to stop wondering about you. And here's the thing, you don't need a closure from them, you don't need them to confirm what you probably already feel deep down. Your energy doesn't require validation from the people who couldn't appreciate it the first time around. Let them wonder. Let them sit with the questions. That's not your job to answer anymore. I also want to talk about how this magnetic energy shows up in every situations, not just in romantic or personal relationships. I'm getting that this happens in professional settings too. People remember you after one conversation. People bring you up to others after a single meeting, saying things like, there was something about that person, I don't know what it was, but they left an impression. That's your energy working in spaces you don't even realize it's working in. Opportunities come back around because somebody remembered you fondly, remembered your calm, remembered how you carried yourself under pressure. That's not luck. That's your presence opening doors quietly, behind the scenes, without you even asking. Now, I know some of y'all might be sitting there thinking, okay, this all sounds good, but why don't I feel? Why does it feel like nobody is paying attention to me at all. I want you to understand something, okay? Sometimes the people most affected by your presence are the quietest about it. They're not gonna come up to you and say, "Hey, I think about you all this time. It's kind of intense." Most of don't have the courage to admit that. Instead, it shows up in small ways. Random check-ins after months of silence. Somebody liking an old post from way back. Somebody bringing you up in conversation you're not even part of. Somebody asking mutual friends how you're doing, what you been up to, who you're seeing. All of that is data. All of that is proof that your presence is still working on people even when you can't see it directly. I'm also getting that some of you have been feeling a little disconnected from your own power light. Like maybe life is life's been heavy. Maybe you've been dealing with stress, exhaustion, doubt, and it's made you forget just how much of an impact you actually have on people around you. That happens. Even magnetic people go through seasons where they feel invisible, where they feel like nobody's checking for them, where they wonder if they even matter to anybody. But just because you can't feel your own impact in the moment doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes you're the last one to know just how much you mean to people because you're too deep inside your own head to notice how you're landing in theirs. I want you to also consider this. The people who get obsessed with your energy the hardest are the usually the ones who saw you at your most authentic, unguarded moments. Not the polished version, not the version you show on a good day when everything's together, but the raw version. The version where you were just being yourself without performing for anybody. That's the version that sticks with people the longest because it's rare for people to see somebody fully unguarded. And once they do, they can't unsee it. They compare everyone else to that memory of you, and most of just don't measure up. That's why even when relationships end, even when people fall out of your life for whatever reason, timing, distance, misunderstanding, they carry a piece of that memory with them. And it messes with their future relationships. Honestly, they find themselves comparing new people to you without even meaning to. Okay? They catch themselves thinking, this person's cool, but they don't have that thing. You know what is that thing, okay? That presence, that calm, and it's frustrated them because they know deep down they let something rare slip through their fingers, and there is no replacing it with just anybody. Now, I do want to bring some balance to this message because I don't want you walking away thinking this means you have to prove anything or chase anybody down or try to make people notice you even more. That's not the point here, okay? The whole reason this works is because you're not trying to moment you start performing for attention. That moment you start chasing validation, you'll lose the very thing that made you magnetic in the first place. This gift you have works be best when you leave it alone. Just keep being you. Keep moving through your life with that same calm, the same authenticity. You know what I'm talking about. And let people catch up to appreciating it on their own time. I also want you to know that not everybody who's drawn to your energy is meant to stay in your life. And that's okay, okay? Some people are just meant to admire from a distance. Some people are meant to learn something from encountering you and then move on with the lesson. Not every person who thinks about you constantly is somebody you're meant to build something with. Discernment matters here too. Pay attention to who actually shows up constantly, who actually puts in real effort to be close to you, versus who just admires you from far away without ever stepping up. The ones who deserve access to your life are the ones willing to match your energy, not just study it from a distance. I am also picking up that there's a transformation happening in you right now, where you're becoming even more comfortable with taking up space, like you're finally shedding whatever old conditioning told you to shrink, to apologize for being noticed, to downplay your own presence to make people comfortable. The shedding process is exactly why people are noticing you even more right now than before. You're not doing anything different on the outside, but something on the inside has shifted, and people can feel that shift even if they can't name it. This is the season where you stop questioning why people are drawn to you and just accept it as part of who you are, not with arrogance, not with ego, just with quiet acceptance. Yeah, people notice me. Yeah, people think about me. Yes, my presence does something to a room, and that's fine. That's not something to be ashamed of or confused about anymore. That's your nature, and your nature was never meant to be hidden. So if you've been feeling like people are being acting a little different around you lately, like old faces are surfacing, like new people are showing unexpected interest, like your name keeps coming in conversation you're not even part of, just know that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Your energy is doing its work quietly in the background without you having to force a single thing. Keep being exactly who you are. Keep trusting that calm, grounded version of yourself and let the rest unfold the way it's supposed to, because clearly you already got something people can't stop thinking about. And that's a gift most people spend their whole life trying to find. And that was it. Thank you for watching.